Almost 8 months ago I made a video about my favorite Violetta episodes, and ever since I have promised to do a video like that with Soy Luna, so it's time now. It's gonna be a basic rundown. I'm going to give my favorite episodes in chronological order. So we'll start with episodes from season 1 and then we'll go forward. It's not going to be a specific ranking because there's so many episodes in this show. And it's hard to have one specific favorite episode, especially because all episodes end with a cliffhanger, so some storylines continue into the next episode, so sometimes you have a bundle of 2 or 3 episodes in a row. But I won't blabber too much, let's get right into it. Starting with episode 35 of season 1. This is one of my favorite episodes because it's a little fruity. Okay, the whole show is pretty fruity, but like this episode is a bit fruitier than the rest. I won't give every single scene because I just want to talk about the characters I focus on the most, but pretty much every single scene I ended up going like, oh my god, the gay vibes were off the charts. Okay, I'm just kidding, not every single scene, because there's a lot of characters we follow and some scenes were like, you know, not as interesting. Like, your favorite episodes really depend on which characters you like to follow more and focus on more. And you will definitely see that pattern with me. Anyway, the episode starts with Matteo and Luna at the fountain and Ambar coming up to them, and Luna decides that she needs to go. And Ambar asks, "Why are you leaving? Do you have a date?" Which, by the way, is like a really random thing to ask. Like, why do you assume that she has a date when she's leaving? But what's really funny about this is that Luna replies, "Yeah, with Nina." So she goes to have a date with Nina. So yeah, their quote-unquote date is more that they just hang out in the park. And Nina is talking about a boy that she just met named Savi. And Luna is like, "Ooh, you seem to have a crush on him." And then she mentioned that she ran into Matteo earlier, and Nina's like, "I think Matteo likes you." And Luna's like, "No, I don't think he likes me. I'm just some random girl." And Nina is like, "No, Luna, you're not just any girl." And Luna gets kind of flustered by her saying this, so it's a little fruity in a scene that otherwise doesn't really pass the Bechdel test, but it was close. We also have another scene later in the episode when Luna and Nina go for a walk, and Luna tells her about a family she saw that took photos, and
quedo con los detalles. Por ejemplo, ¿te acuerdas de la familia que estaba en la fuente? Sí. Bueno, estaba muy feliz tomándose fotos. O el cielo, que está azul con las nubes. O este momento que estoy con mi mejor amiga. Jamás lo voy a olvidar.
Which is like, okay, Luna, why are you so sapphic to Nina today? Other fruity things that are happening in this episode include Simone and Matteo sharing a hotel room, and Nico and Pedro call Simone in the middle of the night because they have an audition and needs Simone to play guitar, and Simone decides to climb over Matteo while he is sleeping to get the guitar. And he's only wearing like sleepwear, so this is a little like oddly intimate. He could have just walked around, but no, he needed to climb over Matteo. And last but not least, we have Jim and Jam. Now, we're at the part in season 1 where both girls, at least Jim, thinks that she's straight and that everyone else also is straight. So she still has this heteronormative view of life, so she has convinced herself that she's in love with Nico, and Jam does not even mention it, but Jim is like, "I'm sure that you will find a boy too soon." Jam is like, I don't think so. Like, Jam is not really interested in boys. But Jim is like, "Do you remember when I lost my chemistry book? You lost your chemistry book the day after. And remember when I got a bike? You got a bike the day after. So now when I have a crush on a boy, I'm sure that you will find a boy too." And Jam is like, "Okay." And so Jim says that she should try getting with Ramiro, and Jam says that no, I don't think that's going to be possible. She doesn't really know that she's a lesbian just yet, so she makes the excuse that Jim used to like Ramiro, so it feels wrong to pursue him now. And Jim is like, oh no, but I should have just stopped liking him so you could have gotten him. Because Jim, for some reason, thinks that you can just decide who you have a crush on and that you can just decide to stop having a crush on someone. Another reason that I think she might be a lesbian, she just does not understand how male-female relationship works. And Jam is like, yeah, that won't work. But later she does go up to Ramiro and like try it out. However, both him and her get completely mesmerized by a new band on stage, because I think both of them fall in love with the singer. Jam is trying to hide it, but I know that she is just as head over heels over the singer as Ramiro is. She's just looking more respectfully. Okay, now when I recapped it, it may not sound like as fruity as I make it seem, but that's mostly because I view this in a shipping and rainbow lens, so without that, I guess everything just sounds super straight to you or something. But watch the episode for yourself, I promise, it's very fruity. My summary of it does not give it justice. Next episode I want to talk about is episode 42 in season 1, which is probably the weirdest episode in the whole show. So Simone wants to move back to Mexico and Luna is really sad about that. Mateo and Amber have just broken up, so Gaston thinks that Mateo should stop being sad and try to just find a new girl, because they are the most popular boys in town, so they can surely just get any girl they want. And Gaston is so out of character in this episode, he just tries to flirt with every girl he sees, and to convince Mateo that he can just get any girl he wants, he goes up and starts to flirt with Jam. And Jam, as you might imagine, is not so impressed. In fact, I think that Gaston might be one of the reasons that helped her realize that she didn't like boys. Anyway, Jim and Jam decide that they want to go out somewhere to like forget about boys, because Jim also has some boy troubles. It didn't really work out with Nico. And they invite Nina and Luna along because Luna also needs some distractions for being sad over Simon. But they go to the same place that the boys are heading to. So Gaston, Ramiro and Mateo just is in this random bar, and then the girls arrive and they're all at the bar, everyone's just like avoiding each other. They ask each other if they like any boys or like any girls, and this whole episode is just, it makes me crack up because everyone just acts so out of character, especially Gaston. Gaston is not a womanizer by any means. He's a super nice guy. He doesn't go around like switching women like some kind of Don Lothario. He's not like that at all, and just in this episode he got replaced by an imposter that tries to woo every single girl nearby, even if they're clearly lesbians. But it's also why it's one of my favorite episodes, just because it's so weird that I just have to laugh at it. The next episode is episode 61 of season 1. This is where Luna and Simon just have started dating, and they are just on the clouds the whole episode, and it's so adorable. This episode is very similar to the episode in Violetta when Leon and Violetta just started dating and they tell everyone they know about them kissing each other, and I think that's why I enjoyed this episode too, because it's the same thing here, that Luna and Simone, they go around to everyone they know and tell them that they're dating now, and it's so cute seeing everyone's reactions. However, for some reason, Luna does not tell her parents that she and Simone are dating. And this is a running thing with Luna, that she never tells her parents that she's dating anyone. However, they notice on her smile that something is going on, and they kind of have an idea that she and Simone might be dating at the moment. However, they, by the way, never found out that they broke up later, so I think that they might think that they're still dating like many episodes after they broke up, and this is also why I think that Monica might also think that Luna is dating one of her other friends, which I will come to when we talk about an episode in season 2. Yeah, I just think it's so wholesome. Next episode I want to talk about is episode 73 in season 1. This is Ambar's birthday party, and everything goes down here. We got iconic performances, Nina and Gaston dancing while Nina has a blindfold on. No, I will not give context. It's Ambar's biological mother, like, showing up as one of the servants. Also, Jim, for some reason, wants to make Nico jealous because the two of them, like, broke up. So she has an audition for someone that can pretend to be her boyfriend. And I just want to say, I am advocating that it would have been so much more fun if Jam dressed up as a boy and pretended to be her boyfriend. Both because this is something that they actually would do in canon, and also Jam later in the show like breaks gender norms and wears a suit at a gala party, so that could be like a start of her dressing in masculine clothes, pretending to be Jim's boyfriend at a party. And also because it would be more interesting for me specifically. Anyway, this episode definitely was interesting and it's one of my favorites. Now we're moving on to season 2, and firstly I want to talk about episode 1 of season 2. The season opener I think is really good. It's not as good as Violetta season 2 episode 1, because that one is definitely one of my favorite season openings ever, but it's very close. And the best part about this episode is that Matteo is not in it at all. This is the only episode where Matteo does not appear. This is also the first time, where we see Ambar's room, and right away I noticed it's a difference in Sharon and Ambar's relationship, because in season 1 Sharon was generally pretty cold to Ambar, but the second season 2 starts, something has changed. Like, the first thing that happens is that Sharon comes in and wishes Ambar good luck on her first day of the last year of school. I think that Sharon and Ambar's relationship is really interesting and complicated in this season especially. So this scene just set the mood that something different is gonna happen this time around. We're off to a pretty decent start. Next up is episode 5 of season 2. And this is mostly due to the open music, but also very much due to the ending. So they have installed cameras at Jam and Roller and record everyone, which has meant that they have seen people doing something that they wouldn't really want anyone to see. It's really ethically wrong to record a bunch of teenagers for the whole world to see, and I also wonder why people are so interested in seeing the live stream 24 hours around. The only reason I can come up with is that it's some sort of device to create some conflict, which it definitely does, but like in real life, this shit would have gotten like reported to the police right away. People have specifically seen Ambar been mean to her friends on these cameras, so now Ambar is basically cancelled. So she is planning to like perform at open music, hoping that when everyone sees her amazing number, they will forget about the mean things she said to her friends. The thing what really strikes me with this episode is definitely how it ends, because Luna goes up on stage and she sings a pretty somber and emotional song. And meanwhile, Ray has gone behind Sharon's back and taken some hair from Luna's hairbrush to put in an envelope to do a DNA test, just to see that she and Sharon isn't or is related. Because he believes that Luna might be Sol Benson, aka Sharon's long-lost niece. We as an audience have known the answer to that since pretty much the first episode of season 1, but we are eagerly awaiting for everyone else to find this out. And right as she sings the highest note possible, Sharon opens the envelope and faints because she realizes that Luna is Sol Ben's son.
Benson, Benson, ¿está bien? Benson. ¿Qué pasa?
Luna. Es Sol Benson.
And that's when I kind of also have to add that episode 6 is also one of my favorite episodes, because the aftermath of this is also like very entertaining. We see Sharon just go completely insane and try to process this news. We get some more cool open music numbers, like Nina and Gaston's really cute duet, and Amber's performance that I don't know if people are gonna like her more, but it's definitely a very interesting performance. She puts very much hips into the performance, which is interesting. Jim and Jam have a really fun shenanigan going on, that Jim left a really angry voice message to Nico, and instead of just telling him, hey, I left an angry voice message to you, please just delete it, it was wrong, she instead decides that she needs to steal his phone. So she and Jam try to cover all the cameras. And then Ramiro shows up, and they are mad at Ramiro because they were supposed to perform at Open Music with him, but he never showed up, so they are pretty pissed at him. They managed to somehow steal Nico's phone, and Ramiro the next day tried to give them flowers, but none of them want them, so he gives the flowers to Matteo instead. And listen, like, I don't like Matteo, but his little bromance with Ramiro is pretty entertaining. We will skip 2 episodes ahead, and now I want to talk about episode 8. I think episode 8 of Soy Luna season 2 is by far the most unhinged episode. So Sharon is just going around with her hair loose, all insane. She's also wearing sunglasses to add to it. There's a really like creepy scene, which is also like pretty interesting to me, where she goes into Amber's room and starts to stroke Amber's hair, and Amber feels a bit intimidated by it, and then Sharon just kneels down and tells her that she shouldn't forget that it has only been the 2 of them, never anyone else, just the 2 of them. And Amber gets a bit freaked out by this. Amber is also really mad because Jasmine has spread a meme about her, and the meme is literally just Amber's face like enlarged, her eyes are enlarged. It's classic like Snapchat filter, and for some reason this is like a big meme, and honestly I don't know why this would be like such a big deal. Like, it's just a fucking Snapchat filter, like you can take a picture like that on anyone. But Amber is still like mad about this, and it's like, you have embarrassed me for the last time, Jasmine. Like, Amber is so dramatic over nothing. She also has some like monologue in her mirror about how she wants to beat Luna and Luna shouldn't take her place, when Luna is not even like bothered by her at all. Like, Luna has other problems. Luna has other like focuses in life. She doesn't even care about popularity or anything, and Amber is like, just you wait, Lunita, I will take everything from you.
Bye bye, Lunita.
We also have one of the few funny Matteo scenes, which is when he says the iconic friend zone.
Ella lo tiene como adentro de su friend zone.
It makes me laugh every single time. My next favorite episode is episode 42 of season 2. Yeah, I tend to like the number 42 in these shows. Episode 42 of season 2, it starts in a way that I'm not a fan of, and that is that Matteo and Luna have just gotten back together. Not a fan of that, but I can move past that because there's a lot of fun things happening in this episode. It's the start of the dance competition arc, and It's very exciting to see people start to prepare and which people want to sign up and perform at it. It's a super sweet scene with Luna and Simone in Luna's room where Luna tells him that she and Matteo are back together again, and Simone basically tells her that if Matteo is ever treats her bad, then he needs to look out for her best friend, who's gonna beat him up. Okay, he doesn't exactly say it like that, but it's basically what happened in this scene. Ambar is also like super mad that Luna and Matteo are back together, not because she like wants Matteo for herself or anything, like she's got it over him. It's just like out of principle that she doesn't want them to date each other, and I think that is so valid of her. She also hates their ship name so much that she like throws her phone on the ground. But the most iconic scene of the whole episode is by the very end. You see, earlier in the episode, Luna and Nina were looking at the computer because they were investigating Luna's pendant and where it may have come from. And Monica walks in and tells them that dinner is ready. And then at dinner, Monica suddenly asks, "Hey, can you tell me why you were so mysterious in the bedroom?" Luna is like, "What do you mean?" And Monica is like, "Well, when I walked up, you two looked mysterious." And then she adds, "Luna, if something important happens to you, I'd like to know." And remember how I mentioned earlier that Luna never tells them when she's dating someone? Well, I have a theory that since she never told them that she dated Simone and thus never told them that she and Simone broke up, I think that her parents keep theorizing that she's dating one of her friends, and they may have figured out that maybe she and Simone aren't dating, at least not anymore. But they are like, but she must date someone. And the only other logical option would be Nina. So I have a headcanon that Monica thinks that Luna and Nina are dating. And obviously they never are, but I promise you these scenes get so much funnier if you have that thought in your head that Monica keeps thinking that they are dating. So this scene just comes across as Monica trying to like interrogate them and make them confess that they're dating. Other things to note about this episode: Anna and Mora are currently living together because Anna's house is under renovation, and they have a bit of a tension due to not really getting along and having to live together. They are sort of giving me the vibe of a couple that just moved together and have to like figure out how they can live together. Because that's exactly what they are. And in the upcoming episode, they definitely have more coupley vibes, let me tell you that. My next favorite episodes is a bundle of episode 45 and 46. This is when they have the singing competition as video. We get a bunch of good performances, and just like in the Eurovision, the wrong song wins. But we have some really good ones. We have Jasmine's number, I think is really good. Mostly because Mano a Mano is one of my favorite songs. Actually, it's my top 1 song from this show. So every time they sing it, I get happy. Mano a mano, no sé cómo acomodarme, mi vida ya es un desastre. Amber has a pretty interesting number too, but Jams is obviously my favorite. And I will say one day that I do give my heart and my whole life to you. Other things to note about these episodes is that Matteo goes to like jump around in the audience in the middle of his performance, and Amber gets so annoyed that she covers her ears, and queen behavior. Me too. Same. And also, Amber walked away in the middle of Jam's performance, and I think that is really rude. Like, Amber, I know that you're a main character and Jam is a secondary character, but that does not give you the right to walk away in the middle of her performance. That's crossing a line. Luna also struggles because she both wants to cheer on Matteo, who is her boyfriend, and she also wants to cheer on Simone, who is her best friend, and for some reason she can't cheer on both because then one of them will be sad. So then she says that her favorite song is Jam's. Next episode bundle I would say is episode 50 to 52. This is the roller gala. It's very exciting. Jam has been complaining all the time over not wanting to wear a dress, and Jim is like, but what are you supposed to wear then? Because all girls are supposed to wear dresses. And so Jam decides, no, you know what? I have an idea. This gala, the dress code is dresses and suits. So Jam decides, hey, I'm going to wear a suit. So she comes out wearing a suit, and it's wonderful. At the gala, a bunch of drama happens because both Simone and Matteo wants to sing with Luna, and she once again has a hard time choosing between them. But this is also the episode where Ambar finds out that she's not Sol Benson. Because I have skipped that episode, but Sharon, to keep her fortune, told Ambar that she was Sol Benson and not Luna. However, now Ambar's biological mother has showed up. I don't know how she found out this information. Maybe Ray told her something because Ray is an imposter, but anyway. She knows this information and she goes to tell Ambar that she's her biological mother, and she proves it by knowing that Ambar has a birthmark on her hip. And Ambar is very, very shocked about this. So she goes through yet another identity crisis. And I definitely feel empathy for Ambar, but she's so interesting in these episodes when she just like finds everything out. And she realizes just how much Sharon has lied to her. As I mentioned, Sharon and Ambar's relationship, especially in season 2, it's so complicated, it's so many layers, and I love it so much because there's so much to analyze here. Another note is that Luna is starting to realize that Matteo is annoying, and I support that. Anna has also realized that she really, really loves living at Mora's place, and she is super nervous to tell Nina about this. Which, once again, why are you so nervous to just tell Nina that you really, really want to live permanently with your best friend? There's something here that the writers weren't allowed to really do. And we also have some more like Simone and Ambar moments, and they start their budding relationship here. Also, Juliana takes Jam out and tells her that she wants her to sing during the roller skate competition because she thinks that Jam should have won that Vidya prize. And her singing voice reminds Juliana about a singer she listened to when she was Jam's age. And that singer made her heart beat in a special way, and she felt the same way when she listened to Jam the other day. And how am I supposed to take any of this straight? This is like the textbook definition of an older sapphic mentoring a younger sapphic. There's something with the sapphic woman in Soy Luna, and like especially having a fondness over Jam. Next, I'd like to talk about episode 71. Simone and Ambar have just had their first kiss, so they are all up in the clouds all episode, at least until the end of the episode, but they at least get around 50 minutes of just happiness, and I love that for them. And honestly, much of the episode is just like the Simbar scenes, because this is like the only episode where they actually are dating in season 2, so you take what you can get. Also, once again, I do not like Matteo and Luna together. However, the final scene of this episode is a bit funny because Matteo basically gives Luna a love confession, and Luna replies by chugging water awkwardly. Mood. And they actually have a pretty funny kiss scene, because they basically are telling each other that they don't like each other anymore, and then they start making out. I don't know, I thought that was funny. Even though I don't like the ship, I do. This particular kissing scene was fine. Next is number 79 in season 2. And this is only due to Ambar and Emilia just messing with everyone. Especially Ambar just stealing Luna's roller skates and throwing them into the ocean, because Emilia at this point realizes that, oh my god, this is a bit too far. And this random man just comes to threaten to call the police. The because apparently roller skates pollute the ocean. So Emilia and Amber hold hands and jump into the ocean to get the skates. And then I guess they just walk out of the ocean completely soaked. No one is commenting on the fact that two dripping wet girls are just walking around like nothing is happening. Also, yeah, Luna's skates are ruined forever, so she can't really skate. However, they solve this in the most stupid way possible, because for some reason, there is a roller skate machine. Like, what? They have a big roller skate machine that you can just go up and use, like, not even needing to pay anything, I guess. You just go up there and you design some roller skates and they come out and you can use them. And what is this show? What is this show? So yeah, Luna gets to skate with her brand new roller skates that she made in a roller skates machine. How did she know that it would fit? How would she know that it would work? I don't understand. Let's move on to the next episode. My next favorite episode is episode 1 of season 3, because season 3 is just so vastly different from the previous 2 seasons, and that is mainly because of who's in charge of the mansion now, which is Luna. So all of the season she has to like deal with the fact that she stole Benson and like dealing with just everything that comes with that. And so episode 1 is really like, you know, the start off for the season to come. I love to see where everyone is. I love how Luna is starting to deal with the fact that she's gonna inherit this mansion, and also her grandfather really cannot read the room because he wants to throw a party right away, and no one else really wants to have a party, but he insists. And Amber just has become Got, and Got Amber is so interesting. Definitely a really interesting start to the season. My next favorite episode is episode 20 in season 3, but the thing is, it's not so much about the plot this time. Rather, this is just more for the aesthetics. I mean, what happens in this episode is that they have a skate-off between the Red Sharks, the other roller skating team, and it's pretty fun, but I just love the full aesthetic of this episode. It being really sunny outside. Especially like the scenes with Luna and Nina in the garden where they eat cookies and they talk, and the whole aesthetic, just for me who likes to paint and draw, like I just wanna bring out my sketchbook. Like, it's so pretty. So this episode is a bit more harder to explain why it's my favorites. It's just the aesthetics, not so much the plot. Next favorite episode is episode 30 in season 3. So the Red Sharks are having a festival and they have some struggles with it, but they kick out Jam and Roller. And because they kick out Jam and Roller, they decide to have their own little performance out on the streets. Super cute. What's important for me specifically is that Jim and Jam have their own little dance thing, and the music kind of gets softer when they skate around together, so it's very cute. But my favorite part of this episode is when Matteo climbs the fence at the end of the episode because he so desperately wants to show Luna a video on his phone. And he falls off the fence. I cannot take this seriously. I really, really can't. And my next favorite episode is episode 40. And this is only due to the Flash Open. I think Flash Open might be one of my favorites open music in the whole show. Just everyone in 50s outfits. The girls especially have the best performance of Mano a Mano ever. Even Benicio does a good cover of Como Me Ves, and it makes me mad because that is a really, really good cover, but I hate that Benicio is singing it. Simone and Amber start kissing passionately backstage. Like, what more can you ask from this episode? And finally, the last favorite episode I have is episode 56 of season 3. So this is the episode where basically all the couples get together. However, there are some individual scenes especially that I like. First of all, the scene where the 4 girls go to school and Luna tells them that she and Matteo are back together again. And once again, I do not like Matteo and Luna together. However, I really love how supportive and excited Jim and Jam especially are. And then they start talking to Nina about Eric, because in season 3 Nina has a thing with a guy named Eric, and I support their relationship even less than I do with Luteo. Like, I do not like Nina and Eric together, I promise. However, once again, I love how excited Jim and Jam are, because everyone is talking about how Jim and Jam are so pushy with their friends, blah blah blah. I know, but in this specific scene, I just can't help but laugh and just think that they are so adorable, because Nina tells them that she and Eric haven't been able to kiss because someone always interrupts them. And Luna jokingly says that, well, we can't just go around telling everyone to just leave you alone if they see you standing close. And Jim and Jam are like, yes, that's exactly what we can do. Yes, that will absolutely work. And they believe it so well that this absolutely will work. And it's such a stupid idea. And why the heck would this work? But they believe in it so hard that you just have to laugh at them, because they are idiots, but they mean so well. And it's just so amazing, because Jim and Jam, they may suck in love, like they suck at romance, but they care so much about their friends. They really care, and they would do everything for their friends. So even when they come with such stupid ideas, they are so excited about it that you almost want to support it, even if you hate both of these ships that Jim and Jam are so excited about. But the funniest thing about this is that this fucking works. It works. Nina goes to thank them later because it works. We also have the scene with Amber and Simone and the roses in the staircase, because Simone decides to put rose petals from Amber's room down the stairs. And I have to applaud him that he did this without anyone noticing or anyone hearing him, and I guess if they did, they just ignored him. But also the fact that he knocks on Amber's door and then magically happens to run off without any sound and manages to like get downstairs again without her even hearing that he runs away. He's very smooth and is very quick. Also, it's a real contrast when Amber has this really short nightgown and she comes down and Simone is wearing this. It's a big contrast, but they kiss, and this is probably the most intimate scene they've had ever, and I'm interested to know what they did after this scene. We also find out in this episode that Jim and Jam got into university together, so that's very cute. They're going to be university girlfriends. And finally, this episode is when Sharon truly comes back and she's planning on her final move, which will happen in the upcoming episodes with the fire and all that. These were all my favorite episodes, and it's hard to talk about them because I clearly just focus on certain parts of them because they follow so many characters, so there's some character storylines that I just don't care about. So, you know, your favorite episodes are really just your favorite scenes with your favorite characters. And just like you could guess with my favorite Violetta episodes, you probably notice here too that my favorite episodes gives out a pattern about what I care about in these shows. Now I am curious to hear your favorite Soy Luna episodes. Also, check out my favorite Violetta episodes video if you haven't, because that can be fun too. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.